Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another week of OCC Scrims. Tonight, we have our Shimada Clan finals against Egypt's Nightmares, Lotus, and the Holy Grail of Canada, United Moose. What do you think of the matchup starting tonight? I am your play-by-play caster, Showdown Shane.
And I'm your color caster, Archangel. And Shane, tonight is, as you said, a fantastic matchup. We've got Lotus versus United Moose. These guys are just coming off of having played each other last week. I believe it was on Sunday, and it was another match that I casted, a 3-1 to Lotus. And for both of these teams to be here tonight, it's a big deal for United Moose getting this revenge story against Lotus. They have to win here kind of for a pride thing in a way. They got absolutely beat around for the first part of that game last week. So if they can bring it back on Lotus, that'll be huge props to them. On the other hand, Lotus are looking to continue their dominant run over the Shimada clan this season and take this entire take the entire tournament. Really, they want to win in Shimada clan. This proves that they are the best of the best.
This will be our season 3. If I'm correct, will be our conclusion for season 3 for Shimada Clan. So both teams are looking to go for gold and get that shiny season 3 belt, saying they are the champions. And for tonight's roster, we have on the side of Lotus, we have Berkey and UMN36 as tank, Uni and Eternal as the DPS, Kel Kaneki and Guillotine as supports. And then going on to United Moose, we have Okemi and PM Doggio as the tanks, Nat and Mosaic as DPS, and Nova Vixen and Maki as our supports. What do you think of that lineup right over there?
They're very strong rosters. Both teams had some very standout players last week. I know Berkey and Eternal definitely took the cake for Lotus in terms of DPS and tank. They really took control of the game. You know, you had your frontliners making a lot of space. And then you had obviously the DPS were like really capitalizing on it, specifically Eternal. He was playing out of his mind last week. Kel Kaneki and Guillotine are no slouches on the support either. I mean, those guys put on a masterclass performance in the support role. So anybody looking to get tips, those are your guys to watch tonight. On the other hand, United Moose, they have some pretty standout players as well. I mean, everybody is individually consistent in their own roles, but if I had to select one standout player from this team, it would have to be Mosaic. I cannot tell you how many times last week we thought a fight was completely lost for United Moose and Mosaic would roll over him with the 4K, and all of a sudden that fight was busted wide open again. So if United Moose want to take more fights and as a result more maps against Lotus, it's going to be off the back of Mosaic pulling off these consistent out of his mind plays. And speaking of, you cannot make plays without maps to make those plays on. And our map pool this week is going to be Lijiang Tower on Control, Hollywood for Hybrid. Apologize, I got lost on the words there. Route 66 is going to be our escort map. Our fourth map is going to be Assault with Temple of Anubis. And we're going to finish off if we have a tie with Nepal. So a really strong set of maps tonight. What do you think about that, Shane?
Who is going to be very, very interesting to see here, especially with the new meta that's going on. As, let's be honest, main tank has been nerfed into the ground. I cannot think of many main tanks that are still viable to play at the time. You know, Ryan's Earth Shatter is not as powerful as it was before, and he's getting slapped around with everyone just ranged combat. You also have Rarissa basically being just almost unplayable at this point, because the one ability that would be so well in a team environment has just been almost completely negated at this point. And it almost looks like Winston is the only really good pick for the main tank side. So it's going to be interesting to see how these players adapt to this new incoming meta.
Yeah, and I do want to highlight right now that coming straight out of spawn, as we can see the lineup starting to take shape here, and we have two very different takes on compositions and metas for this week, including going so far as to have 12 different heroes on the field with the exception of the Lucio. So both of these teams are going to be prioritizing speed in their gameplay, and they're going to want to get in and get out fast. And that does benefit the Hog Zarya composition a little bit more, because you bubble the Hog, he dashes in, gets a quick pick, and then he can just come right back out with Lucio's speed boost, right? On the other hand, it looks like we're seeing a double shield hybrid kind of thing with the Sigma and the Rhine, which isn't conventional, but still offers some really great opportunities to get up close in the fight, and Lotus already taking advantage of that close-up style.
As we see Eternal getting the headshot onto Mosaic, but gets an instant revive from Mark McKee. As we see, Lotus is already taking the cake for just going ahead. Control point coming in online in a second, as Guillotine takes out Nat, and now Lotus, that is a free insta capture for Lotus.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really smart to play this Rhine Sigma into a Hog, specifically because Hog's utility right now is very reliant on his hooks. He has to get those hooks off to kill the squishies. But if there are two shields up in his face at all times, he can't get his hooks through those. And Okemi does manage to find Eternal, and of course now, as soon as I say that, United Moose starting to push this right back through to Lotus, taking the fight straight to point.
As we saw the May coming in strong, just freezing the Rhine in place, just pulling out massive amounts of follow-up damage to take out the Rhine. Now it is up to United Moose to go ahead and take this map. But we see here the Coalescence coming out for Lotus as they try and keep up the fight. And we see the Nano coming out as well onto the Zarya on the side of United Moose to get some extra damage out. Revive coming out on Okemi from Maki. Right now we also see the Symmetric Barrier coming out as well, along with the Flux, but it does not seem like much damage comes out of it. Berkey gets the charge onto Mosaic, and it looks like Lotus is a little bit up in the running. Big Shadow trying to come out, but does not seem to pick up anyone. We also see a huge grab come out as well. Let's see if any fall comes on it, but it does not seem like it is followed up on. And now Lotus still managing to keep up the pressure, and they're at 70%.
Right, so the one thing that Lotus really excelled at last week was aggression, right? Every time that they got straight up in United Moose's faces, United Moose just couldn't take the pressure, right? And this Hog Zarya style is such an aggressive composition. I cannot stress how in your face and, you know, getting picks and all that this composition is. So for them for United Moose to be playing this composition, they have to be playing it as aggressive as Lotus are. They have to match or increase the aggression that they're giving off if they want to have any chance of coming back, not only in this fight, but in this series as a whole. Lotus look extremely dominant right now with this brawl. In points, he's been captured.
And with Lotus on 102.0% going against United Moose, it is now 1-0 for map 1, and as we are heading into map 2.
Yeah, so point 2, this night market is a very enclosed point, and Lotus have already shown an affinity for playing the Symmetra, and Symmetra locks down this point so heavily it's really hard to get a foothold if you're not prepared for it. And we're gonna see Mosaic hopefully switch off and stay on the Sim, because if you can duel out with the Symmetras, especially with as dominant of a DPS as Mosaic is, I think United Moose should get the upper hand in a lot of these engagements just off the back of this Sim play and being able to lock down a point, specifically using the Hog and the Zarya to do so. You want those two upfront tanks in your face doing a lot of damage, but the wall comes up and splits United Moose in half.
As we see, the Rhine is now frozen. As we see, Lotus already taking out 2 on the side of United Moose right now. And Lotus says they want more as they're trying to push into United Moose, as United Moose is trying to cower back to their point. As we see the point unlock, and Lotus already taking this first capture.
Yeah, so clearly Lotus are very trained and well rehearsed on this Rhine Sigma, even though it's not conventional. You know, Maintain's not in the best spot right now, we know. Sigma just got a huge nerf on him, and that does put a damper on them, but their synergy is still so good as tanks that against a strategy like Hog Zarya, you know, you're going to be forcing your opponents to swap off. You know, Emi already getting walled off, but Emor comes in to save him just in time, but it's just not enough.
As we see, Lotus already showing a big play coming in from Uni on the Symmetra, just pushing out heaps of damage. As we know, Sim's Beam got a buff to where the huge damage fall off does not happen as bad. So now Sim can now do extra tons of damage with the beam, and that's going to send United Moose into a little bit of a backup as they try and re-engage for a new fight.
Oh yeah, Sim is definitely one of those characters that just melts you, and because Uni has the better setup with the Sim versus Mosaic did have, before he swapped off obviously, they had the advantage in most of those fights. So what United Moose have to do is start forcing out these ultimates like they're doing now, and just LOSing it, try not to get caught. But it looks like Lotus's aggression, it's so unmatched, and United Moose looks so unprepared for what's happening, but they're pushing back. They've got picks now. The Blizzard being invested. So are United Moose going to take this fight? It looks like they are.
Big Blizzard coming in from United Moose. As we see, they're now on the cleanup, just sweeping away Lotus as they tend to capture the point with 79 to now 5%.
Yeah, but now they've got to have essentially a perfect run, right? Because if Lotus caps this point again, you're in one fight territory, and if Lotus starts to play aggressive again, they start to push into United Moose, then I really find it hard to believe that United Moose could keep up with that pressure. But Mosaic standing in the backline trying to get these picks off early is a huge asset to United Moose, that they can't afford to lose their Moira early like that.
Nice. Just a Night Shadow coming in. As we see the beat coming out as well for United Moose. They see Window and a huge Gravitic Flux coming in. A huge Surge coming in, my bad. Coming in. A huge Surge just countered back. I see Coalescence coming in as well. And it still seems like United Moose keeping this point as Team Kill rings loud and proud.
Yeah, they forced out so many of Lotus's ultimates and so many swaps now coming through. I mean, now United Moose have flipped the tables, right? They put themselves in a position to succeed, even just by using 2 tank ults. And may I just say, Okemi, that shatter was incredible. If they keep playing like this, United Moose will look unstoppable.
You see the next team engagement coming in as well. Okemi already taking out Berkey. Lotus is going to be down their main tank now. As we see, the Sigma probably has to go and take position to try and keep everyone alive with the barrier. And now that is going to have to be another regroup for Lotus, as United Moose is now at 85% and is now going to be about last fight territory.
Yeah, and I think it really took United Moose to swap off of some of these, like this Hog Zarya style, because it wasn't working for them, right? They weren't playing it the way that they needed to. But in the Rhine v Rhine duel, Okemi is vastly outclassing Berkey, and it shows with these picks after picks. Okemi is absolutely going wild with the Reinhardt right now.
And as we see, United Moose has won round 2 of map 1, bringing it to a nice solid 1-1.
Right, so United Moose need to keep playing this style, right? They win the Rhine duel 9 out of 10 times, and as long as Okemi keeps taking these Rhine duels and winning consistently, United Moose have all the space in the world to work with. And that's what I think Mosaic and Nat really lacked with that Hog Zarya composition, is that Hog and Zarya don't make space, right? They hide in the back, they get a couple picks, and that's the fight. But if you can't give your DPS, especially McCree, he needs to just be able to sit in the back and take pot shots at the enemy squishies to get value, or even the tanks if he can find a really good tank that's low that can be picked off like that. So if the tanks for United Moose keep making this space for them, then they're going to win. But that was just an insane slaughter coming out from Lotus.
As we see, Gu team with the double boobs coming out as team kill rings loud and proud for Lotus, as it looks like the control point is about to open up in about 5 seconds, and it looks like Lotus will already go ahead and take the first capture.
Yeah, and that's an insane boom, right? The mental fortitude that it takes to come off of getting completely team wiped less than 10 seconds after coming out of the gate is insane. United Moose have a lot to come back from, even just after that first fight, if they want to keep taking this point.
It's going to be an uphill battle now, as we see the double barrier coming out from Lotus, where we see the Rhine Zarya brawl coming in from United Moose. As you see the next engagement coming to happen as well, Mortality Field already out. We see the Doomfish just charging in to try and get a cheeky kill off, but does not manage to get it out. And we see Uni coming in and gets a kill, and now the double coalescence coming out along with Symmetric Barrier coming out as well. We see Bird going in strong with the charge into the whole enemy team of United Moose being aggressive, and Lotus is already going ahead and wiping out Lotus, whoever they see in their path. Wiping out United Moose, whoever they see in their path.
Yeah, I gotta give props to Eternal's Doomfist. It looks so oppressive right now. Like, every time somebody gets a pick for Lotus, it's usually off of the back of Eternal causing chaos in the backline and completely pulling resources away from the people who need them the most, right? Because if you distract the Moira, then the Moira's not providing healing or damage to her front line or the enemy's front line. Or even the bat. That Moira has to be used really early, and that costs them in the fight. Lotus investing ultimates now. They've got the Flux, but Wall comes out to block it.
We see the Doom coming in with a Meteor Strike, but does not get a single kill off. I see the Window coming out as well. It's a dangerous situation, as that has increased damage coming into the whole team. As the Fire Strike comes in, does not manage to get a kill through the window. A Hammer coming in, but it's blocked by Okemi. But Berkey blocks the counter shatter, and we see Ryan is now down. As we see the beat coming out as well for Lotus. We also see Coalescence coming out as well. Big surge coming in as well, but not any follow-up coming in. As we see, it is now 99-0 for Lotus, as they are taking everyone out. At overtime tick is going down, and that is it, folks. That might be it for Lotus, unless United Moose can touch as best they can to try and bring this fight back. I see the May coming in as well, along with the Baptiste trying to come in as well. Unity taking out Noah Vixen, Eternal taking out Mosaic, And we have the ball coming in as well, but when you have people who can stun you all the way, it's going to be tough to even and just survive on the point. Meteor Strike coming in to try and get one last pick coming in, and Lotus has taken game 1.
That stall was absolutely insane. The shocked look on my face through 90% of that final fight was just, we've killed you, but there's still one of us on the point. Haha, kill us now. It was the back and forth between those two teams was great, but coming off of this first map, Lotus is looking so dominant, and that's exactly what they need to do. They need to carry this momentum through the rest of the series, right? United Moose, however, cannot allow this to snowball, right? You had a tough time. It was a rough start, but they can come back from it. It's completely possible to... it looks like our game just got canceled, and I really don't understand why. But anyway, really, it's all on the back of Mosaic to keep coming up with these picks, right? They have to... United Moose has to come back strong in the next map.
As we are going into the next map in a little bit, we are heading right on into Hollywood for map 2.
It looks like we're having some technical difficulties, though, so we might need a couple minutes to get those sorted out.
As we were talking about, main tanks is in a tough situation. Surprisingly, we have not seen the double bubble strategy coming out with the Winston Zarya strategy. We have not seen it played just yet, but who knows? We might get to see it, and we might even get to see it on Hollywood for a little bit of attack action, as Hollywood has some good dive spots if you can find the right targets, of course.
To be completely honest, though, I don't think that for either of these compositions, a double bubble counter strat would be the answer, right? You consider what both teams are running. You've got the Rein Zarya. What does Winston jump into there, right? If he jumps in, Rein just can turn around and get the cleave damage off, and he gets the Winston gets focused down immediately, bubble or no bubble. On the other side, you have Rein Sigma, where you can get accreted. There's just a lot of crowd control from that composition, so it makes sense that double bubble isn't being run here. However, I do completely respect the choice of United Moose to swap off the Hog when they realized that it wasn't working, because with that much CC, that many shields stopping you from getting value, there's really not much you can do in that situation.
As we call our teams, let's make sure we can get up and roared and ready to go on to this second map of Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood is a very interesting map, to say the least, right? Point A can be held for an absurd amount of time with the right composition, and point B is such a steamroll. I've seen so many times where a team that struggles to get a foothold on point A, the attacking team that struggles to get the most foothold on point A, usually steamrolls past point B when the time comes. On the other side, the team that steamrolls through point A usually doesn't have the ult economy to keep that push going. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams balance out their ultimates, especially on Hollywood, with it being as important as it is to keep a snowball going on that map. It's really important to see which team picks the correct composition to start cycling their ults properly, as that'll make all the difference as to who wins in the end.
We see both teams are now up and ready to go for this second map as we're about to hop into Hollywood. What do you think what kind of comps we're going to see on both attack and defense side?
That's really interesting, because control is kind of a wild card, right? So you can't take anything that you've just seen as serious as you normally would. But I do expect Lotus to stick with the comp that they would normally stick with, coming off of control, being that Rein Sigma, because the double shield, the amount of CC that they have, will be super important in controlling any aggression that United Moose tries to exhibit. On the other hand, United Moose, they've got to find a composition that maybe plays a little bit slower if they want to avoid, because we're seeing this double shield composition, in fact, coming out from Lotus. So if United Moose want to counter that. They have to play a bit of a slower pace. They don't want to get caught by all the CC, all of the cooldowns that they could possibly get picked by, because you lose one person, everything falls apart. And we're seeing this Ryan Winston, this double main tank kind of strategy coming out from United Moose. I don't know if it'll stick necessarily, but if it does, I'll be very interested to see how they use both of these main tanks specifically, because obviously Ashe Sombra has kind of been the meta recently with DPS, so having those two is kind of a given on Assault. And your supports are going to provide very stable, very secure damage and healing output for the rest of your team. Lotus, on the other hand, is using a flyer, right? You've got Echo to set up here, and with all of these sightlines that Eternal will possibly have, I think that's a really good choice, because with the exception of the Winston and the Sombra, the rest of United Moose's composition isn't super mobile. So as we get into this first fight, what are we seeing here, Shane?
We are already seeing the pop-off coming in from Uni taking out Prime Minister Dogyo, and Uni taking out Mosaic with the Dynamite. That's going to have to be an automatic backup for United Moose, as Lotus already taking out two of their players. It's going to be up to the Winston to try and take out the people on the high ground. As you know, high ground is maximum value. So taking away from them, kind of cripples the enemy team in a sense. So we shall see how Prime Minister jumps in, trying to get some good damage off, but is looped away, so that now Winston is in a tough position for the side of United Moose. As we see United Moose going ahead and making their move towards the point. No picks coming in just yet from either side. As we see, Prime Minister going in to try and get a kill, but Eternal shutting it down. Uni also taking out Nat. As we see, there we see it. Lotus once again making United Moves go on the defensive.
And that was the issue that I pointed out from the beginning that I thought United Moves would have, and that's that there's nothing to support your Winston. The whole crux of this composition is the Winston diving in and creating a distraction, but he has no protection. There's no Zarya bubble for him. Mosaic gets an early pick on the Eternal, though. This could be a good opening, but if the Winston gets picked early again, if he gets out of position and manages to go down, then I don't know if United Moose will keep the push going. But it looks like the picks are coming through for him.
Yeah, it looks like it's looking up for United Moose at the moment, as we see the Nano coming in on the Sigma as well. But it does not serve them well, as we see United Moose is already taking away onto the capture point. And it looks like Lotus is going to have to go ahead and back up and let United Moose go ahead and take the taxi cab.
Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate. Mosaic getting that opening pick, that's exactly what I said Mosaic needed to do to make these fights work. He needs to be getting consistent, or they need to get to getting these consistent picks every single fight to start them off. And when Mosaic doesn't get those picks, it seems things kind of fall apart for United Moves, right? The Winston dives in, gets melted, one of your supports gets killed in the backline. Just any number of things go wrong when Mosaic is not pulling out these clutch plays. Oh, and the dueling bobs. You'll love to see it.
With the big EMP coming out as well, we see just holds coming in back and forth. We saw the Echo change into the Reinhardt, but I don't see much value coming in from that. As we see Lotus still trying to keep United Moose at bay, but United Moose coming in for seconds. As we see the Primal Rage coming out as well, but the Discord Orb is now on the Winston, as he has to possibly play a little more defensively, as he could get melted very quickly if not careful. But it doesn't matter. Hammer comes out, but it does not take anyone. And it's looking good for United Moves, as we're going to see the Virtue go ahead and getting the Nano, as well as the Rig Plus coming in as well, as Lotus goes ahead and cleans up United Moves.
Right, so I gotta give props to both sides for the ways that they handled that fight. First of all, United Moose re-engaged very quickly. Maybe 10 seconds after the first engagement ended back at the beginning of Point B, they were re-engaging and Mosaic goes down. That's so bad for United Moose. But they also, Lotus allowed United Moose to use so many of their ultimates before pushing in with a couple of their own and absolutely walking over the top of them. So you've got a trans and another another transformation. I forgot what that was. But, pardon me, but it looks like they've got Okemi trapped in a corner with a double Reinhardt. That is absolutely disgusting to see.
That is very unfortunate, seeing two big German men just coming at you full force, hammer swinging away, as that's going to be another backup for United Moves, hoping to get a re-engagement. Mosaic getting a pop shot dynamite kill onto the Echo.
Oh, yeah. Not what I want to see in my Overwatch games. Two giant, burly German men heading towards my face. That does not bode well for anybody, but it is time for United Moves to re-engage. They have to re-engage fast, though, and they have to do it by using their ultimates, because they can take advantage of their economy situation right now and completely turn the tide in their favor, but it looks like Lotus is not going to let that happen. There's Eternal and Berkey already getting those opening picks. They have been so controlling on this map so far.
They got to push the limo a little bit more, but does not matter, as we see the hammer coming out as well, trapping two of United Moves as Berkey comes in with the cleanup. Huge shatter coming in from Berkey.
Yeah, if there's one player to watch out for during this map, it would be Berkey. He is consistently coming out hard with his shatters, or even just not being afraid to get in his opponent's faces and use that cleave damage to his advantage. The hammer does 75 HP per second, or 75 damage per second, which is insane numbers, especially when you consider you can click 3 or 4 people at the exact same time. And now we're seeing the Roadhog coming back out. That was a huge shatter, and I completely missed it. Don't let me do that again.
Along with the EMP to combo in with it, as we see the Nano Ryan coming in onto Berkey as he goes ahead, just swinging away as he's focusing on the Ash. Mosaic is now caught in a corner. Eternal just sticky bombing him down, as we also see the Roadhog being caught out as well. Gutin taking out the Prime Minister himself, as it is now final fight territory for United Moves, as they have one more re-engage possibly to try and go ahead and push it to the second checkpoint, as they're coming in with almost no ults except for the Bob to hopefully try and touch. 4 seconds remaining as we come in. Double Bob now out on the field. And it's now overtime. Big hammer comes in just to get the Bob, trying to get him away. And the copy coming in as well. Gucci copy the Transcendence, as the copy Roadhog cannot do much damage with that whole hog, as it seems to actually push everyone away. Gucci getting the kill on Mosaic, Berkey getting Okemi. He is looking good for Lotus, as they have now taken 3 of United Moves. But it could simply go awry, and it looks like that is it, folks, as round 1 is taken with United Moose not getting to the second checkpoint.
First of all, I just want to say how disappointed I am that I missed the 3-man shatter. That was huge, and I never want to miss that again. But this is very much a David and Goliath kind of story, right? Specifically because what it feels like right now is Mosaic versus Lotus. Mosaic goes in, gets a couple picks, and I do have to admit, I feel like he has a better hit scan than someone like Uni does for Lotus. But it can't just be, if the rest of your team isn't following up or playing as consistently as you are, then that's where Lotus get the upper hand, because all of their players are contributing, right? The Echo from Eternal got a couple picks. Berkey was consistently cleaving through his enemies. And of course, UMN coming in with a couple picks here and there. And the supports were just enabling all of that to happen so well. So Lotus is really a team effort, and it shows. It shows where they're working together, combining ultimates, combining cooldowns, and synergizing to win these fights. And United Moose is just saying, we've got one player who can do a lot of damage, and that's what we're going to do with, Mosaic go brrr, but it doesn't always work in their favor. Mosaic, however, going on to the Reaper, and I do want to, his Reaper's really been a high point the past week or so. Going up against Lotus last time, anytime United Moose took a fight, it was on the back of Mosaic getting those huge 4Ks with Reaper. So if I trust him with any hero, it's going to be the Reaper. For sure.
Ask and you shall receive, as I see the double oval coming in from Lotus. So this should be quite the fun time to have, but it's going to be tricky to see who to jump on, as you certainly can't jump the Reaper. gonna have a hard time jumping the Baptiste as he's gonna just rocket jump away. We also have the Moira with Faye, but we see the Berkey just jumping right on in, going on the tanks as we see Doomfist coming in as well. Unique already getting the pick onto Mosaic. As they say, the monkey going in for more. Breeze is going in and just zapping everyone away, but keeping everyone from United Moose at bay as they cannot get back onto the point as Lotus is just taking tick for tick. A Shadow coming in as well, but does not seem to get much value out of it, as is now heading into the full team of Lotus onto the point with Mosaic trying to come in on the Reaper, trying to get kills, and Lotus doing a great job of just keeping United Moose out of the play.
That fight brought a tear to my eye. Just pure happiness to see the Winston jump in and have the follow-up from the Doomfist and the Zarya to just catch it, not be afraid to push in and catch up to their Winston to finish off some of these bulkier targets. That's what you need to see in a team that wants to win, especially with Double Bubble. It's such a team coordination-based strategy that if you do not have the follow-up on your picks, which Lotus clearly does, then you're not going to make any progress. But of course, Lotus, they just look so good consistently. Following up, you know, Winston jumps in, gets bubbled, and the Doomfist is right behind him to capitalize on that, on the Reinhardt that's out of position. It's actually insane to watch. So Yimbaji does take down Ashe. Both Ashes are out of this fight before it even starts. And the transfer caught by Goo. There are so many ultimates coming out from Lotus. They really want to finish this fight off right this. And the
as you can see, they're only 2.74 meters away, as we see Lotus already taking the win for map 2. Just a definitive win right there for them.
Yeah, I mean, what is there even to say, really? Lotus are coming out with a level of synergy and a level of coordination that I don't see from any teams below, like, contenders. You know, that tier 2 scene, that's where you start to see a lot of these crazy plays coming out. But Lotus just seem to have it down. And the biggest thing, because I do play for a couple of teams, but the biggest thing to remember is that it doesn't matter what composition you want to play. If your team coordination is down, then it doesn't matter, right? You can play any composition and you could play mystery heroes and you would still dominate in that regard. But United Moose don't seem to have these basics down just yet, right? They're still struggling with the, I'm going in, are you going to back me up or am I by myself? And that's what we're seeing a lot of is like Okemi would play, or PM Doggy would play the Winston, and he would jump in, but there was no support. Right? Nobody went in with him. They weren't playing a composition that complemented him. And without those fundamentals, without those absolute basics of being able to follow up on picks or follow up on engagements, United Moose are going to consistently fall short against Lotus.
As we are now going into the halftime, don't go away yet, folks, as we are going in with 2-0 on the side of Lotus. Lotus probably going to try and take it to get that dub as they're trying to be the Season 3 champions, possibly try and get that 3-0 against United Moose. United Moose still trying to be on the comeback. They could get that reverse sweep coming in as we are now going into the halftime. We will all see you back soon.
How about you?
And welcome back, everyone, to our Shimada Clan Finals. Right now, we have Lotus 2-0 with United Moose. Hopefully, we can see the comeback happening for United Moose as we are heading right on into Route 66. And what do you think we will see coming out onto this map 3? I'm taking it to you, Ark.
Thanks. So it really feels like Lotus have locked down their strategies. They've locked down what they want to do and what they need to do to win the game. And if they keep playing the compositions that they are at the level that they are against United Moose, then it should be an easy win in theory. Now, I will say that the last time these two teams played together, United Moose started kind of a comeback in these last few maps, right? Like after halftime, they looked revitalized. Maybe they had a team discussion where like, yes, this is what we need to work on, and they fixed it. But in the state of the game as it is right now, United Moose look like they do not have a handle on compositions, metas, hero choices, all of that good stuff, and how it affects the games overall. Whereas Lotus, they've just looked so practiced, so comfortable. They're ready to take on the world, and that's exactly the kind of caliber team that you need to win the entire tournament. That's exactly what you need.
As we see an interesting play coming in, Lotus taking the double bubble, as we see However, on the side of United Moose, they're going for the Hog Zarya combo, the new low ladder pick coming in, as we are seeing. I mean, it can work. It can work. Roadhog is, you know, as we see that one extra damage to his pellet from 6 to 7 somehow makes all the difference, as his scrap gun just melts through squishies if he can get the hook off right. So we shall see the interesting picks coming in, hopefully playing a little more aggressiveness coming in from United Moose to try and just steamroll this point to where it needs to go.
Listen, the gold player in me is mauling right now that you called Hog a low-level pick. Now, talking about this dive composition that Lotus are bringing out here, they've shown it to... Okay, Eternal, Berkey, what are you two monsters up to? Okay, they've been found out by the Zarya and the Hog, so that's the thing. But their dive worked so well on the last map because they were coordinated, right? Winston jumped in and had the entire team behind him, but it looks like United Moose may have found an answer for that, and that answer is gonna be Mosaic with the 3K. You absolute madman.
Coming in strong. As I've said before, we are seeing just the roll coming in from United Moose, as that is as I have said, yes, yes, I might have offended some people by calling the Hog Zarya a low-level pick, but fear not, as I do believe it has its merit, as it is a high damage comp coming in, as we have saw just now, as UM is going ahead and try and take this first checkpoint.
Oh, and the quick pick by the Sombra and Mosaic grabbing down the Reaper is going to basically spell this team fight, right? Unless Berkey can get an insane pick, but looks like it's not going to. This should be an easy fight win for United Moose. And that's the fear that a lot of teams have when talking about the end of Route 66.A, is that it's so easy to get caught in the we have to stall phase that they don't actually take a full team fight. And that's what that felt like. It's like two people walked in, got melted, and then everybody else just kind of followed into United Moose's crosshairs. So this is the exact kind of aggression and playstyle that we needed to see from United Moose the rest of the series. And if a reverse sweep is going to happen, it's going to start right here, right now on Route 66.
You see the tank changes coming in, Berkey and Min coming in for Ryan and Sigma, but as it does not matter, as United Moose's tanks are showing their dominance, just taking out everyone from Lotus, as Lotus is now down a bunch of their players, as they're gonna have to go on another regroup.
Yeah, you see the tanks, you and your tank playing over there in the corner, but I see all of these DPS making huge plays. Your Zen is so crucial to this composition when Guwutin was indeed playing the Zenyatta, that when he was getting picked off by the Sombra consistently fight after fight, and the Mosaic was following up on that with a couple more picks, I mean, you're winning team fight after team fight. If Lotus is never able to take a good 6v6 engagement, then United Moose has all the space and all the time to work with in the world. And that's exactly, like, this cart has not stopped moving once during since it started moving at point A.
As we're seeing right now, United Moose is gonna go ahead and take checkpoint 2. United Moose going in as the DPS say, I want more, as they're looking for their next target. Bob coming in for Lotus to try and like stop the point a little bit, as Bob is now taking a quick little nap coming in. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Grandma. But it still manages to get the kill onto Maki, as you know, United Moose has to play a little bit slowly now.
Oh, that's fine though. If you're United Moose, you're really happy about that, because Lotus had to use 3 ultimates to win that, right? Look at the ultimate. You've got 3 ultimates for Lotus, and United Moose have saved up all 6 ults. They just haven't needed them because Lotus have played so scrappy for the rest of the series, or for the rest of this map, right? So United Moose can now start to invest these ultimates. Looks like they're only going to need 2 though, and they're still somehow going to go down in this fight. No capitalization on that grab whatsoever. It means that it's going to be a wasted ult and a complete reset for United Moose.
Big Shire coming in from the Rhine, held up in that grab, stopping any aggression coming in. So that's going to be another backup for United Moose. as we know, as is getting the third point, the defenders have more of a respawn advantage coming in. But as we see that, the payload has yet to come around the corner of spawn for the attackers, it is still somewhat in their favor.
Yeah, and everything I said about ult economy goes out the window now because Lotus just wasted 3 ults, but Okemi getting that pick, showing why Roadhog is such a good quote-unquote low-level pick, as you'd like to call it, and completely dominating the squishies. And that's exactly what they need. If they want to keep this going, the double shield is going to keep shutting it down so badly. And now Bob coming in, they are investing all of their ults. Lotus completely annihilating United Moves. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it.
We saw the plays starting to happen as we saw the Graphitic Flux coming in along with the Blossom and Bob to try and get some extra damage trying to go for a full team wipe. As the ults do get invested though, that is a lot of ults to invest though, as we see United Moves coming in, just taking out the members of Lotus one by one as they're trying to move in for their next team fight.
Yeah, and remember that the closer and closer that they get to the end, though, Lotus gets better and better spawns. And in the neutral, United Moose just don't have as strong of a game. I mean, they've shown where they kind of know what they're doing with this composition on this map, but for the most part, it looks like Lotus is just kind of fighting them back. They're giving them the stop. Obviously, now the DPS for United Moose coming in clutch at the end, though, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Ryan getting bullied by the whole side of United Moose, and he got slept and he got everything thrown to him as he is trying to survive out here. As we see is about to be in the lifelike territory. Guys are coming in to try and keep United Moose at bay. It would have been huge if the follows were along with it. Unfortunately, there is no follow-up as we see United Moves going ahead 3.62 meters. Big surge coming in as it takes the ulting Lucio. That is big as the EMP comes in as well. Round 1 complete. United Moose has taken all 3 checkpoints.
I don't know what I just witnessed there. Ults invested on both sides, a 3-man shatter from Lotus, but no capitalization. Again, that's the issue that both of these teams are having. Anytime that they look bad, it's usually because one player is popping off and nobody else is following up on that, right? But Lotus just looked so confused against United Moose's Hog Zarya composition. I mean, they were able to... United Moose was just able to walk the payload for 2.5 checkpoints without encountering any resistance. And it wasn't until the very end that Lotus started to figure out how to balance their ultimates and how to actually keep United Moose at bay. But by that point, United Moose had the opportunity to start cycling ults, building up those small advantages that always snowball into bigger and bigger advantages.
Attackers incoming.
As we're now going in, Lotus coming in for their attack. United Moose have the time bank of 1 minute 38 seconds on the clock. Let's see if Lotus can come in and just shatter their record as they're coming in with the double bubble strategy once again. And it's gonna be interesting to see coming in on the attack phase as United Moves coming in with the Hog Zarya on defense.
And Hog Zarya is actually really good against this Winston Zarya dive, because if Winston tries to get up onto the high ground or tries to attack or isolate someone, the Hog is the ultimate anti-dive tank. He'll just go and peel for whoever's in backline needs their help. That Winston dies, and you're looking at a full reset for Lotus, because that is their playmaker. And with Uni already going down, Nat looks so comfortable on this Sombra. It's actually scary.
As we're seeing going in, it's going to be a little bit tougher for Lotus coming in as they're going ahead and taking this point. They're already on the backup, and we have a pause coming in.
Yeah, unknown technical issue, but that gives us more time to talk about how good United Moose look with this composition. I want to highlight Nat, first of all. Nat's Sombra is actually scary, right? They are getting in the backline consistently. You know, you take out Guru when they were playing the Zen. Now she's focusing on Uni, making sure that Ashe is never in the team fight. It just makes for some really, really good team fights to go in the way of United Moose.
It It is quite the interesting play coming in. I personally would probably not run the double bubble into this kind of comp because of
Absolutely not.
just the sheer amount of damage that the Roadhog can do when you have two tanks that you have almost no protection with the Winston always coming in, jumping in the back line. But when the Winston, the only person who can give you a reasonable and good amount of defense against hooks and whatnot, Roadhog just there on the front line saying, "All right, it's Babadook time," and just hooking in and destroying anyone that he sees in his path.
Yeah, and like I said, Hog is the ultimate anti-dive tank, right? You dive in, you get hooked, it's all over. But Berkey and UMN are dedicated. They really want to try to force this dive into a Hog Zarya, and I just don't think it's going to work. If they get to a point where they're just beating their heads into a wall and hoping that the same thing works time and time again, then they're not going to make any progress with the with these engagements, and they might not even be able to push it through to point A, which, you know, that's good for United Moose fans out there and United Moose themselves, because that means that we get more maps and the potential for a reverse sweep, and that's what you want to see here. It looks like Guillotine is indeed back. He had a short disconnect, so we're just waiting for the Rs from each team, and we should be right back into the action very shortly.
They're about to go in for another engagement. Well, then again, Lotus has a disconnect, so that will be their regroup. As we see the United Moves coming in again, trying to get some more kills as the Prime Minister goes ahead and gets Berkey. Eternal taking out Nat with the headshot. And as we see, Lotus is trying to go ahead and back up, get a little bit of a quick re-engage going in as United Moves, just chilling right on top of cars.
Yeah, the disconnect is a little unfortunate too, because now Guru is so far behind in his ult charge from the rest of his team and the rest of the game as a whole. Granted, things hadn't been going on all that long, but now we're seeing Ashes trading kills. Mosaic, though, getting the upper hand in this engagement with a 3K. Oh, Mosaic, please calm down. They have families. You just can't do it to them.
Mosaic throwing out that Bob into the whole entire team of Lotus when you only have one reliable shield coming in, and the Winston was kind of away from the team. You don't have much protection coming in, as the Bob will just melt through everyone if he is left unchecked and your team is unprotected.
Yeah, Kemi now taking the duel with a Reaper, or no, with an Ana, it looks like. Very interesting. He gets forced off the high ground, though. So that's going to open the door for Lotus to move in, especially with this double bubble, but Hog immediately will just help stabilize for his team, and the Ana goes down. That's huge. Now you have no healing for your Monkey. You have no nade to help them out. You have no anti-nade to protect, or to do extra damage to the enemy team. Lotus just looks so confused in this map.
We see the Surge coming in as well. Okemi just trying to keep everyone away with the whole Hog. Bob coming as well, but is taking down another big Surge coming in to try and get some extra damage. But it looks like Lotus is still in their favor going in. And as we see Atomic B getting hooked by the Roadhog and getting killed automatically. Marquis coming in with the revive on PM, and as United Moves going ahead and taking their stake onto the point yet again.
Yeah, the Roadhog just looks so dominant. Like, it's not even a contest as to who the main difference maker in both of these compositions is, and it's got to be the Roadhog, right? It's the only consistent difference between the two, with the exception of Eternal's Reaper, that's actually making a difference. And UMN is going to try to match him on the Roadhog, which is going to make for an even more interesting engagement in this fight, because Winston Hog, not something you would assume would work, but Eternal getting the 2K, that opens the door wide open for Lotus to move straight into this fight and take QW and potentially first point.
As we see Berkey coming in with that nano as well, just hopping off the value of the big Death Blossom coming in from Eternal, and now as we see Lotus has taken first checkpoint, and they're going in to try and take the second checkpoint.
Yeah, there's not a huge opportunity to snowball this, though, because United Moose do have a better ult economy, so anytime Lotus tries something, they can just, ult and stop it right then in its tracks. But I love this aggression from Lotus. It is working for me. It is getting picks. It looks like Nat's about to fall low. Mackie and Nova also falling extremely low, but United Moose going to come back with a couple of picks to end that push as soon as it starts.
Lotus still going ahead, even though their Winston's down, they're still pushing the point just proudly. As we see Wu in a tough situation, still gets picked off though as that hook. Very scary coming in as the kill comes out, and that is it, folks. As Lotus will have to go in for another regroup as United Moves goes ahead and takes out everyone from Lotus.
Yeah, Mosaic, I cannot get enough of Mosaic. If a reverse sweep starts happening on this map, it's gotta be on Mosaic. I mean, the man is getting 2, 3, 4 picks per fight, and then letting the Hog follow up. It looks like Lotus going for a bit of a flank angle on the Hog. Okemi immediately getting pushed down from his high ground, but that's, the Graviton Surge is huge.
It's a big surge coming in, and the Roadhog coming in as well with Whole Hog. Let's not throw shade down onto Okemi as the big plays coming in from the Roadhog, just keeping Lotus at bay as they are not able to get as aggressive as they want to, as they're just getting hooked and scrap gunned every chance that Okemi can get.
You've got to imagine the struggle to not get in chat right now and say off-tank difference, because that's essentially what this feels like, right? It's the Hog versus Hog, and every time Okemi is getting the upper hand. In this kind of meta where Hog is basically, the meta is basically get a Hog and win, you really need to see these big plays coming out, and it looks like Lotus is starting to push back, though. It looks like they got a couple picks. They're going to keep pushing this card in. And that's going to be a reset for United Moose.
Okemi just escaping from the hairs of their chins. As we saw, they were anti-nated and one hit away. But as we see Yumin just with the far-reaching hook coming in, and Okemi in a tough spot as he is getting hunted down. The rest of Lotus going in, just taking out the rest of United Moves as they're coming in. 10 seconds remaining on the clock as they're trying to capture the second checkpoint. I think the time bank will still be left. Payload has reached its objective, and now, Lotus still in it. They have a lower time bank, but they are still in it for this last checkpoint.
Yeah, very unfortunate that United Moose are letting this happen to them. The stagger and the snowball that they are allowing to happen to themselves. Okemi getting the pick onto Eternal. That's going to stop another push from Lotus unless they can find a pick for an answer, But Nat's kind of hanging around here in the back line. She's got a plan. Don't know what it is just yet. Meanwhile, the rest of her team is cleaning up Lotus. Very, very dominant engagement right there.
60 seconds remaining on the clock. Mosaic just taking that high ground with the Ash Pocket, just getting the headshot onto Eternal. And now it's go time for United Moose as they send in the Bob as well. They try and just break the shields as well and just keep Lotus at bay, keeping them away. They're playing keep away with the card as it is now 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Looking to see United Moose might go ahead and take this game unless the big pressure coming in from Fergie. Not much follow up from it though. As you see, the Nano Blade coming in as well. Gets one. Can we get a second one?
There's two.
There's two. But that's about it as we see Lotus coming in for even more aggression. You see Whole Hog coming in as well, along with the EMP Surge Beat coming in as well to protect the team. Is now overtime as Lotus is trying to take this last point. Yumin getting the headshot onto Nav from the hook is now contention onto the point as United Moves is scrambling to take out everyone from Lotus, and they're doing it with success as well as Bob comes in as well to try and get a couple of takes off, but United Moves staying out of his range as overtime is taking down for Lotus as they still manage to touch the point. And that is it, folks. United Moose has won Game 3.
Yeah, and that means they're going to be staying in this series they have the potential of a reverse sweep to start now. Such a huge difference between maps 1 and 2 and now map 3. I mean, I don't know what just happened, but United Moose just turned something on. I mean, they are a second half kind of team, you know. Okemi starting to come alive during that fight. Definitely giving a lot of props to that tank duo. The Hog just worked for him. I know they tried it on Control and it didn't work, and they kind of tried to avoid doing it on Hollywood, but I mean, if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, United Moose need to keep this going if they want to have a chance to take this series.
Whew, it is getting hot in here, folks, as we are
Not a fan.
heading into map 4. I wish the fans do not do me justice.
Well, we have fans in the chat. Maybe they'll send some cool air your way.
Unfortunately, I cannot read chat at the moment. Hashtag
Oh,
internet
you're lucky.
problems.
Internet problem. You said it, man. The real answer here is it's actually RAM problems. When you only have a single stick of 8 GB RAM, running Discord and Overwatch is enough, you know.
it's too much. Their computer will explode.
If anybody knows any good places to download more RAM, hit me up.
As we're heading into Temple of Anubis 4, map 4.
Yeah, absolutely. So Temple of Anubis, kind of like Control, is definitely just a wild card of a map. If you any Control maps are wild cards of maps, but Temple of Anubis is one of those more consistent kind of Control maps where Double Bubble is extremely powerful here.
Now entering the temple.
But Hog
of
Zarya
Anubis.
is also just as strong, if not a little bit stronger, with the new patch coming through that makes Roadhog even
Initiating
hoggier, even thicker. What would be the terminology for that? Can you help me out with this one?
I would say he is the beefy boy himself.
Okay, that's
Big
gonna
boy.
be enough out of you. No
Big
need to hear any
boy.
more about your beefy boys. But it looks like United Moose are gonna be sticking with the composition that they have been running, the composition that has been working for them. And I mean, why wouldn't you? They just look so comfortable. I cannot stress enough how comfortable United Moose looked. You let Mosaic pop off in the back line, give him space to work, let Okemi roll over the front line because Hogs just be doing it like that. And you've got a really good chance of taking this map as well. Lotus, on the other hand, going back to what they tried before, right? Berkey and UMN going back to that. Ryan Sigma, they're going to try the double shield. I don't know if it's going to work the way that they want it to, especially since they're on defense right now. Ryan has to get in close to have a lot of value, right? Get a couple fire strikes, shield off damage, sure. But if you want to unlock the full potential of Ryan's kit, you have to play at close distances. Meaning that if United Moose really wanted to, they could just take the right pathing and completely avoid having to get close. Take that high ground, jump down on them from behind, and that renders Lotus's composition completely useless. And that looks like what they're going to do. They're going to take the tanks. Roadhog trying to rotate around to this high ground, and the rest of the team taking the battle in mid.
As you see the rest of the team trying to catch up, as we see the Widowmaker just having free reign as they're
The pick on the Ana! That's
That is-
massive!
unfortunate. That is what exactly United Moose needed, as they now can just go ahead and just go right onto the point. As the PM taking out Uni as well. It's not looking good as Lotus, as they're trying to just get into this little corner and protect themselves, waiting for their teammates to come back, but backup will not arrive on time. As we all know, 2CP, you will not get your backup, as once your team is taken out that fast, it's basically free reign for the attackers, as they are now going to capture point A.
Yeah, the best part about this, the best part I love about watching this is that now it looks like Lotus are on the back foot here, right? They looked so dominant in maps 1 and 2. we honestly, I mean, we were talking during the halftime that maybe it was just going to be 3-0, end the series, and the tournament as a whole, with Lotus being that victor. But it looks like we have a true potential for the reverse sweep and upset here. It looks like Okemi's trying to get a little bit of poke, and Nat is kind of working her way around the back here, looking for a good play with the Sombra. Not much you can do without the EMP, but that hack is huge. Sigma's going to be completely useless without being hacked like that. But the 2K from Eternal, that's going to turn this fight on its head immediately.
Good 2K coming in from the tire, getting both tanks. There's basically going to be no space is going to be taken by United Moose, and they now have to go on the backup, as we see Nat just caught out as a Sombra, as they desperately tried to get away and successfully do.
I don't even want to know how Nat got out of that situation. That looked completely impossible, and Eternal being caught completely out of position, that's going to open a great window of opportunity for United Moose to start moving in. The Bob going to be placed on point. There's no way to avoid that. That's poor Reinhardt.
As we come in, Bob is now sleeping on the ground. Transcend is coming out as well. As we see Lotus is trying to stabilize a little bit more and managing to do so. As we see the Zarya caught out of position and is now killed. That might have to be it for United Moves for this push, as they are being taken out one by one, making the time tick even longer.
So now we see the strengths of Lotus's composition, right? It really looks like United Moose have to push onto point, and this isn't like a point A kind of thing where you can just wrap around and the opposing team is caught out in the middle of nowhere, but you've got to take a close-up fight on point, and that's where the Rein and the Sigma duo reign supreme. And especially with Junkrat being able to spam all of these choke points, you essentially force United Moose to go where you want to go, and the place that they want him to go is straight into Berkey's hammer, but Kurukin going down early could open a window for United Moose to start pushing into this and not have to worry about all the extra damage. The Graviton Surge is huge. Okemi with the 3K.
With that whole hog, as the hog comes in on the point as well to just hold it down even longer, is now up to Lotus trying to just take away as much time as possible, but does not seem possible as they come in and Berkey charging in to try and get a cheeky kill, but is automatically taken out with the Bob, and that is it, folks, for round one. 2 minutes 55 seconds going in on the clock for United Moves.
Score.
Yeah, Okemi and Mosaic definitely done sleeping. I guess they were playing checkers or they were playing Tetris or something on their monitors for the first half of the game, but now something's clicked, right? And when they're enabling the rest of their team, it allows players like PM or Nat to also get into good positions to make huge plays. And you love to see it when the entire team just kind of clicks off of the back of one or two players getting some star level early picks. I mean, how many, like that final fight, Okemi getting the whole hog off on 3 people, that opened the door wide open, and the rest of United Moose could easily capitalize on the remaining members of Lotus. So you got to keep seeing it happen. Defense is a little bit tougher to achieve with a composition that United Moose is running, but it's still completely doable, especially if Lotus are insistent on playing this Reinhardt with the Reaper, right? You've got to get in close, you've got to try to counter the Roadhog, but it's just extremely hard to do.
As we're seeing coming in, we got Berkey on the Reinhardt, but we see UMN coming in on the Roadhog, as Roadhog is now the dominant specimen that he is now. Interesting composition coming in with the Hog Zarya on the defense, but as we see, they can make it work. United can make it work, as it is now Liz's time to attack.
I'm going to start using that dominant specimen. What an interesting set of words you used there. But yeah, this is a really good place for United Moose to hold. It looks like Lotus are going to try to do the same rotation that United Moose tried. The only difference is that Mosaic is sitting up on the high ground. She can pick the squishies coming out of that doorway up top, and the Hog's going to rotate to meet them. He's going up. He's waiting for him. Oh, that's a scary sight. Okemi, you can't do it to him. Don't do it to him, please.
And you see the Nat trying to get in with the Sombra skills, trying to get a big hack off. But we're just trying to see Lotus just wait on their team members come back. Noah Vixen already taking out Uni once again. And as we see, Lotus already trying to get their stake onto the point, just pushing they're pushing United Moose away as if Lotus is defending and United Moose is attacking. As one tick is already down, can we make it two? As Lotus is doing a great job of just keeping United Moose off the point. If you can't kill them, just get them off the point. You see two ticks coming in now for Lotus as the breakdown is now happening and Lotus is having a tough time coming in and being killed. And
DPS
corrected as we see the epic pop-off coming in from Uni and Eternal, just bringing this fight around. It looked bad for Lotus, but don't leave the DPS unchecked as they will run through your team.
This is a fantastic opportunity to snowball too. You've got all the ults in your favor. You just start pouring them in and kind of take this opportunity to overwhelm United Moose a little bit, right? Like, don't let them get and there we go, Mosaic immediately going down. They're gonna get the res off, but the ults are starting to come in. Everything is being used from Lotus, and it looks like this is gonna be an easy point B capture for them. So much time on the clock. Okemi, getting a little bit of an extra pick on there. Mosaic throwing the bob on point, but it really looks like, wait, I stand corrected. Do I stand corrected? United Moose coming back in.
Unless Eternal can come in with the good re-replays, but it does not happen as he gets headshotted. But Lotus managing to take just one tick off of point B.
Lotus just let United Moose walk right back into that. The bob from Mosaic was huge in contesting the point because it gave the rest of the team, it gave Okemi specifically time to come in and start, his one-man apocalypse thing going on there. And it really threw Lotus for a bit of a twist, especially since Roadhog is so oppressive. And we just saw how that works, but Eternal going down, you lose your main source of damage for Lotus, so a push is going to be nigh impossible at this point.
As you see, United Moose coming in with the good kills back and forth, and that's going to be another backup for Lotus, as, United Moose is going ahead and just sweeping them right on under the rug.
Yeah, this is a huge shift from what we were seeing earlier in the game. United Moose have pulled it together. I don't know what halftime does to certain teams, but for United Moose, we know that it's given them motivation. And Nat's going for a little bit of scouting, see what's going on, looking to set up and follow Lotus back to point. She's 50% to her ult, so we're not going to see any EMPs being used just yet. Causing a bit of a distraction in the backline, though. Very nice. Meanwhile, the fight happening on point. Frontline's both about to engage with each other. Shane, take us through this fight.
As you're about to come on in, there's another engagement happen for the night. Roadhog just anti now as Eternal pulls out the Beyblade. But the B comes in as well, does not save him as time. Bob comes in as well as Berkey pushes him off point. He is now nanoed as well. And he is hacked though. Okay, coming in with the whole hog, clean it all up. The moment the Reinhardt was off the point, it was over as Bob now had free reign to just pew 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 everyone into the backline of Lotus.
Is that the professional term, pew pew pew? I'm gonna write that down in my dictionary of professional Overwatch terms so I can use it in the future. But this is one of those very few cases where Bob is actually doing something, and I love to see it. Every time Mosaic clutches out with that Bob being thrown onto point, I mean, it just spells doom for Lotus. Lotus looking to make a very standard left side rotation now, though, which means that they're going to be running straight into a choke point that United Moose can very easily secure.
Especially with the window coming in, along with the surge. That could be huge. But Okemi just getting one kill. That is unfortunate, but it does not matter as we see more follow-up kills coming in after the surge. And that's going to be yet another backup for Lotus as it is almost quite nearly a team kill.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, United Moose look like they have this point locked down pretty well. I mean, if you're Lotus, the next step from here to try to take point B is to take one more engagement, charge up as many ults as you can without using ones that you've got, and then just hit United Moose with everything on a final attack, but it doesn't. The way that they're poking right now, it doesn't look like Lotus is going to get the opportunity for 2 more engagements. So they're swapping off onto Doomfist. They're looking for the huge EMP. Oh no! Hush my mouth. Berkey getting a pick, but it looks like United Moose are still in this with 2 picks. Shane, follow this up, please. Don't leave out the details. This is insane.
As we come in with a huge surge coming in. Didn't want to cut you off there as you were getting into the action. As we see the Eternal coming in with a big hit onto Okemi. As you see Double Doomfist coming in. The Eternal coming in with the KO punch onto Mosaic. As you see another one coming in onto PM Dogyo. As Nat is having a tough time trying to come in on the point, especially with the Mercy. Eternal coming in with a Meteor Strike is now out. Lotus is point to lose. 20 seconds on the clock. Lotus doing a good job of trying to keep everyone off the point. Okemi just hanging on by a thread. Another
they can't let this happen again. They can't let it happen again.
As we see the follow-up coming in. 10 seconds remaining on the clock. As Lotus still managing to stay onto the point. It is now just rolling in, and it's now overtime, clock ticking down, and that is it, as United Moose has somehow and most definitely come out with a Game 4 winner.
Shane, it's happening. The reverse sweep is indeed happening. I can't believe Lotus let it happen to him again. It's the same thing that happened the first time that they got the foothold on point. You thought they were winning the engagement, and they were. They were capping point, and then all of a sudden they just let the Hog come back out. The Hog provides enough stall to let Zarya come back out, give him the bubble to keep him alive, and the 2 of them clean up the point. This Hog-Zarya combination is so oppressive and so insane to watch, but because of how well United Moose are playing this this Hog-Zarya composition, we are getting to see a map 5, and the reverse sweep is happening. It is coming, Shane. I feel it. Do you feel it?
I do sense,
good.
I can smell it in the wind.
I mean, Lotus they look so boomed. I mean, to come back off of halftime expecting to finish off with a 3-0 and it just not happening for United Moose to come back the way that they are. You love to see it. I mean, you absolutely love to see it. And if the reverse sweep manages to be pulled off, I think it's all going to be on the back of Mosaic and Okemi. It didn't matter what engagements were happening. One or the other of the 2 of them is popping off, getting a 2K or a 3K, and just absolutely dominating in their respective roles.
The Hog will only be an issue if you let him be the issue. And right now, Hog is having free reign over Lotus as they're having a tough time dealing with just the sheer amounts of damage. And if you're avoiding one, you're jumping right into another as Mosaic not slacking off either with the Ash plays coming in, just popping off one by one as we're about to head into map 5, Nepal, as this will be the last game of the night and for season 3 of our Shimada Clan finals, as we are waiting for one bit.
Yeah, we just need a second to get a player right back into the game. But, I mean, what do you want to see from Lotus to counter the United Moose and stop this reverse sweep? Like, what's it going to take for them to come back in this series?
It might honestly take a bunch of shield, just shutting down the Roadhog with the double shield action, as we have saw. It worked pretty well, decently, for Lotus back in Lijiang Tower, as we have saw. It was really hard for Okemi to get hooks, as you had not only the Rhyme barrier in your face, but you had Sigma barrier to worry about as well. Roadhog is good at breaking said shields, but when you have 2 that are constantly being charged up, then that's when it becomes an issue, and you can't get as many influential hooks onto the team just to get the kills. But as we have saw, Roadhog is having a good time, just Okemi just having a blast, just going on those off angles and just being able to just wait and just reel in anyone caught out of position and just get the pretty much insta kill on any squishy he finds and hooks, almost like he's going fishing. But as we see, he won't have as much opportunity as we're going on to another King of the Hill type of map.
Absolutely. And
everyone's going to say bunched together.
you know, the way that I look at it personally, if I'm a Lotus fan, is if you can't beat him, join him. And at this point, the Hog has shown himself to be super oppressive to both sides. So if you're having a hard time countering him with this Rhine Sig or this Rhine Hog strategy, whatever they're trying, because they've tried a lot of different things to counter, just play just try to play that Hog Zarya into them. If you play the mirror matchup, Lotus have shown that they're much stronger in the neutral, that they have the talented players over United Moose. So if they can play this mirror matchup and make it work, then I think Lotus have another really good opportunity to stop this reverse sweep. And it looks like we are finally able to get into the map. It's final map, Nepal. Everybody in chat, send the reverse sweep hype. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to feel it. Since I can't see chat right now, I just want to feel it. You know? You know that instinct you get when you're like, yes, the chat's listening to me. The chat knows what I'm saying. That's what we need to hear right now. We need to hear the chance for the United Moose reverse sweep. And if you're a Lotus fan, I don't know what to tell you. Pray that United Moose do not get this reverse sweep. And of course, we're seeing the Hog Zarya composition run out from United Moose. It's what we kind of expected. Granted, though, on a point like this, I think Rhine Sig definitely has a huge advantage, right? The double shield brawl style that they want to run is definitely dominant in this matchup.
Lotus fans must be biting their nails right now and sitting in the edge of their seats as the reverse
mauling right now.
As the reverse sweep is imminent, as is now 2-2-2. But let's see if this double barrier strategy can once again go in their favor as it did in Lijiang. The door's about to open and the first first fight of this new map 5 will now begin.
Awesome, yeah. And the rollout looks very standard from both teams. It looks like they're just... Oh my gosh, I didn't even see Lotus get to point that quickly. That's actually crazy. And now that they have this point presence, it's going to be really hard for United Moose to break through, especially since you're going up against a Rhine Sigma. The brawl composition, especially with Simter and stuff on the wall, is actually insane to push through. Trying to get through it is really hard. So they're looking for another route around. They're going to try to push through the left. And Okemi getting the opening pick onto the Moira. That's going to bust this fight wide open for him.
But as we see, Lotus already has the point presence already taken down with the percentages. Now all Lotus has to do is just stall off for time. If not, get their healer back. As we come in, Yomin getting the kill onto Mosaic. But it looks like the downfall is coming in for Lotus on this first map as United Moose having a great time just splitting the vision between Lotus and just getting picks to where the focus is now diverted to. As they're coming in, Lotus with 30%, and now United Moose has 20%.
Dagger on Eternal, not cool. That is going to stop a fight for quite a bit. It's going to let United Moose get quite a bit of extra point percentage on the board. Now, the biggest thing to notice between the two compositions is the mercy difference, right? Because, Berkey gets caught out early. That's not even fair. And they don't have a res for it, unlike United Moose. You know, United Moose gets, they lose a player and immediately can res it back up, but Lotus do not have that luxury, and it is costing them fight after fight. They just get pushed back out of point again after 3 picks. Shane, what do Lotus have to do if they want to recontest this point?
They might have to do a little bit of misdirection and go around to find new avenues to try and get through the point. I see the Sim Bear coming in as well, but we see Maywall stopping them from the track, probably to try and get a kill. Berkey everything out of Mosaic, but we see a big surge coming in along with the whole hog trying to get some extra damage. Nat is now boosted up and ready to go on the May. But it does not matter as Lotus goes ahead and just steamrolls through and takes back the point.
Yeah, and for United Moose to have used 4 ultimates to try to keep that and still managing to lose point, I mean, now you're playing on the back foot a little bit. Lotus has an advantage here, both in terms of ultimates and positioning, although I did say that at the beginning of the map, and United Moose proved me wrong. So it's going to be up to United Moose's play in the neutral. Force out those ultimates, let them run their course, and then push it, right? Play them in the neutral because Hog and Zarya have the advantage. And it looks like instead they are going to start trying to bait out some of these ultimates. The Flux already out, and Guru gets the pick onto Okemi. The Hog and the Mei being out, that is a huge disadvantage for United Moose.
And that's once again another backup for United Moose. As we see the Blizzard coming in along with the Flux, as that now puts United Moose in a tough position, as is now going to 80%. It's about to be last fight territory for United Moose.
Absolutely, and the amount of ultimates that that Lotus are investing in Eternal already means to become the match. That's not even fair. That's going to make a push in so much more complicated. So Shane, please tell us how these final seconds are playing out.
It is not playing out in United Moose's favor as the Bear comes in as well. Shadow comes in but does not get anyone. Misses, but no one from United Moose can touch on point. That is unfortunate, as Lotus will go ahead and take round 1.
The ultimate C9. If that is a C9, I mean, I don't know what is.
The Shatter for dominance.
Yeah, I mean, the Shatter whiffs, and then you get the kill onto Berkey, so now Lotus is without a main tank. Mosaic pops High Noon, so in all regards, I mean, that fight was potentially winnable for United Moose, but without a body on the point, the timer runs out, and it's just game over, meaning that now we are playing for map point and match point, as well as rights to the end of this tournament. If United Moose want to finish this reverse sweep, they have to finish not only the major reverse sweep, but this little mini reverse sweep on the control map as well. And Lotus are going to be fighting for their lives in this series.
As we see the Ryan's already coming in as well. Mosaic is already coming in strong with the 2 kills. As it is now United Moose's turn to win, as they go win and just heavily outplay Lotus, as it is now United Moose's time to shine as they get point presence.
Mosaic on the Ashe has popped off all night. You'll love to see it. You know, I was expecting some great Reaper play, but the Ashe is just as strong, and by being damage pocketed by the Mercy, you could basically one-shot most squishies in the game, which is not the kind of power that a DPS should have, but here we are.
I mean, Whittle and Hanzo do it as well. As we see the nuts and coming in, Okemi already coming in. Mosaic already taking out. The Bob, and then Mosaic getting another pop shot onto you, and then for a kill on the headshot, and that is another re-engagement already down. Just quick drawing it out with these fights, as that's another regroup for Lotus.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is being on that Symmetra isn't really super strong for contesting, taking these engagements. It's great for locking down a point and keeping it, and as I say that, Mosaic goes down, so this engagement could go completely in the way of Lotus, but without Sim being able to lock down the point the way that they want to. The grab is huge! Oh my god, Okemi with a 4K. That is actually nasty. The tanks for United Moose doing so much tonight.
Big surge coming in with a nanoed Rhine as a fire strike comes in loud and proud and just wrecks everyone on the side of Lotus, as is now reaching last fight territory, 82-0 on the side of Lotus, as it is now reaching last fight territory. United Moose doing all they can to try and win this. A big shatter coming in!
Shatter!
From United Moose, and that is it, folks. That will be about it, folks. As it is now 99-0. Overtime clock ticking. No one will be able to touch it, and that is it. Objective secured. 1-1 for this last map of the night.
The tank ultimates coming in clutch so many times during that point, and as we get into the final point, I feel it. The reverse sweep is here. United Moose have worked so hard this series to bring it back from the edge of extinction in this tournament, and now they're on match point, just like Lotus is. This is the final, going to the edge, And for a finals match, this is exactly what you want to see. You want the close 3-2, 5-map play style that we come to love from close matches. And this is quality Overwatch right now. This is top tier in every sense of the word.
Big plays coming in from United Moves. As they see the full brawl coming in for United Moves, that can prove them well for this map. But I so corrected as we see Lotus going in and getting 2 kills off as United Moves is now down on about 3 of their players coming in as the objective opens up, and that's going to have to be an automatic regroup for United Moose.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. I mean, I think Mosaic not being on that Ashe is hurting them. They don't have the long range. They can't get picks off in the back, but Lotus just kind of outclassed in the mirror matchup. And this is something that we've been following all game, and that's that anytime United Moose tries to play the mirror matchup, they try to play what Lotus wants to play, they let Lotus take control of the game, right? And you cannot allow that to happen if you want to have a chance of taking this point and as a result closing out the map, right? So the good wall coming in from Nat, but the follow-up just not there, and Lotus going to run over United Moose once again.
That's unfortunate as we come in, and the DPS trying to do some work, but that's going to be another regroup for United Moves.
Absolutely, and with a team playing the way that both of these teams are, you don't want to see this end in 100-0, but if United Moose don't make some swaps, start making some adjustments, Mosaic going over to the hit scan being one of them, and we know his hit scan has been actually nutty this entire series. We really have to start relying on Mosaic to make these plays, and with the wall off, Mac gets a pick, and they're not able to capitalize on splitting off United Moose.
It could have been a big shatter on. It was a big shatter actually onto that Reinhardt as Berkey goes ahead and takes down Okami as Coalescence comes out as well to the rock, try and cancel it out. It is now looking at almost even fight for both teams as we see the pushback coming in. Big flux coming, big surge coming in as Yui tries to get the kills.
Oh, the shatter takes out
as well. But no follow coming in as well, as it looks like Lotus going in and at 99%, but that looks like that will be game, folks. As
yeah, United Moose has to touch. They've got to rely on the ball. If the ball does not touch, which it's going to, but we're kind of in a stall moment here where United Moose can't take a fair engagement to win this game, and with overtime ticking away, the disappointment of a reverse sweep not being able to happen is actually just
Victory.
so disappointing.
As all the action now has died down, Lotus has now come up with the win, as they are now your new Shimada Clan champions for Season 3 of OCC Scrims.
That is amazing, and they deserve it too. The fight that they put up to get here should not be understated. I mean, United Moose came back on him, and for a second there, we thought we had it. If you were spamming reverse sweep in the chat, I'm so sorry. I feel for you. I really do. But Lotus so deserved that win. They played every composition so perfectly that they wanted to, and every time that United Moose got an advantage, Lotus was shutting them down. You know, you look back to map 1, map 2, when United Moose tried to run this Rhine Monkey or whatever other composition they thought they wanted to run, and it just got shut down time after time after time. I mean, Lotus are playing they deserve this. I mean, prove me wrong. That's all I could say. They really deserve this.
Lotus did very well tonight. United Moves coming back. They had it. They were going for it, and they were almost there. Victory was in their grasp, but Lotus coming in with the dominant force on the almost full brawl type of strategy, as we saw coming in on that last round of Nepal, and now just squeezing past with that win, as they now have taken the belt and are now your Season 3 champions of OCC Scrims.
Yeah, so let's talk about our players of the match, and I'll let you start this one off because I think you've got an interesting one.
To me, I think I would like to give it out to Okemi, actually. As we have saw, Okemi, after coming back from the halftime, we saw Okemi doing phenomenal plays on the Roadhog, just getting the kills that United Moose needed to just go ahead and just shut down any type of push or aggression Lotus could even fathom within the first team fight. And Okemi just being a dominant force all the way up until from halftime all the way up to this last map. We saw Okemi stepping it up and doing their best to try and get that final season 3 victory.
Yeah. So conversely, I'd like to give my MVP award to Berkey, somebody on the winning team, but also one of these main tank positions. He played out of his mind today. You know, any fights that Lotus won, it was Berkey getting a 4-man shatter, Berkey getting a 2K just with the cleave damage or fire striking somebody off point. I mean, every time he used his cooldowns or even just got into the point, specifically on the Reinhardt, I mean, he looked like an unstoppable force. And if you're United Moose and you get stuck between a rock and a hard place, you've just got to hope that that hard place isn't Berkey.
That will be about it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We love to have you go in and support us wherever you can. Join our Discord. Follow us on Twitch and whatever plugs that we may know. I'm sure that you can follow us there wherever you can find us. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, yes, all those good places. As we are now coming in, that it will be the end of the night. I have been your Play-by-Play caster, Showdown Shane.
And I have been your color caster, Archangel.
And we hope to see you all in our new season. Have a good night, everyone.